No, it probably doesn't matter in general, but again, there's many different Aboriginal groups across Australia, and they've got many different preferences on what they'd like to be called. There's lots of words across Australia like Wiradjuri, Binning, Yungo, Anango, and so on, and most of those words mean people. It just means human being, people. And so a lot of those people like to be called by, a Yungo person means human. That's the word for human being. The word Aboriginal is not always liked, especially Aborigines, terribly. It grates on me. The word Indigenous, First Nations, is now coming into use. What I like to do is find out what terms they use themselves. In some places, people in Melbourne and Sydney will tell you, you can't call people blacks anymore, right? But you go to some communities and they're clearly using the term blacks. They say blacks, whites. Us black fellas, you white fellas. And if that's the term they're using in that particular community, well, that's the term you can use. And nobody else really has a right to tell them they can't use it or anything like that there's something wrong with them using it. So if I go to a community, I usually like to find out what terms they are using. The word Indigenous, for most people who speak English as a first language, that's okay. I'm an Indigenous person, they know what it means. But for some traditional people, they're quite confused about it, because they say, well, we know there's Indigenous plants and there's Indigenous animals, so what are we? In other words, they don't understand what the word Indigenous means, and so get quite confused about it. So again, check out where you're at, the particular group of people you're working with. I use the term First Nation people these days, because that's what they were. The original Australians. Aboriginal people, I use the word people, they're the sort of descriptors I use. But when I go to a local community, I like to hear and know what they're using and follow them.